of all of the markets that are out there, why government contracting? That's what's really important, because there's a variety of products and services that you can sell. Like, you don't have to have past experience. A lot of people out there will say, oh, you need past experience. You have to have a business that's done 2 years of revenue. You have to have a set aside. And I can tell you with extreme confidence, you don't need any of that.
Hi everybody, here we are, Ageless Ambitions on luxemediastudios. I'm here in the heart of Hollywood. I'm so glad that I have this special person on that I really want to get to know more about. And she's beautiful. She's an entrepreneur, leadership entrepreneur in all levels. So I'm just so excited to bring her on and introduce you to Dr. Kizzy Parks. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing
Okay,
today?
so you're like the queen of government contracting. I really want to know what that's all about, as well as a lot of other things. But government contracting, gosh, I would love to know more about it, because I think a lot more people can basically, find out about it and maybe get to you to help them to be able to do something with their business.
Yeah, it's definitely a space and a market that most people are either unaware of or just didn't even really like contemplate.
Right. Like for me, like during the pandemic, I think it was easier to understand that people in government, like the president, needed more masks or something. So, but you still don't understand that that's probably a private business, but then you can come in and make it worth more of a contract from the government, so that they can, benefit from it too, besides what else they used it for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Hand
definitely.
sanitizers, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
No,
So,
there
but
is. And before I go into so many different things,
okay, I know, because there's so much I want to
there's so
learn.
many things you can sell, and it's
Yes.
really an awesome market. I just want to share a little bit about how I got into it.
Okay.
I was a graduate student, and I had this research fellowship at Patrick Air Force Base. So
Okay.
I just was working there until I got my big girl job. And I actually technically didn't even work for the government. So I was working for this researcher.
Right.
And I was in the office and I was walking down
Where's
the
that
hall.
at? Where's that at?
Oh, Patrick Air Force Base is in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Okay. Okay. Because
Like where I Dream of Jeannie
okay, I got you.
was created
I
and
love
like
that.
based out of.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I did 8 USO tours all over the world. So I know about GS-15. I know about the mess halls. I know all about that. And then there's actually stores on bases that, is that what you can do too? And then we'll get to where
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. You can do
Gotcha.
all of that. Yes. And that's that's what's so cool about the entire space, is just the variety. And I, like many, I had no idea. I just was like, I'm here. I want to do what I need to do and then apply for my big girl job. And I was walking through the hall, and the director of research, he popped out of nowhere, and he was like, Kizzy, I heard you're graduating soon. I want to keep you on as a contractor. And he's like, how much is it going to cost me? And I didn't know what he was talking about. And I threw out this number, and he was so excited. His big blue eyes lit up, and he's like, yes, I'll have my assistant contact you. And that was 15 years ago. And at that point in time, I offered data analytics, diversity and inclusion, thought leadership, anything he ever wanted. I subcontracted to a firm, and I was just really laser focused in on being like this expert to the federal government.
Okay,
and
so that seems like a dream come true. I mean, seriously, because you were just working even out of the government in some kind of program, and then this all happened for you. It just kind of fell in your lap. Wow, that's
right.
So cool. Yes. Wow.
And then along the way, because like many listening, I didn't know. I just knew, I was like, okay, there's military people, there's these contractors, there's me. And I learned throughout these, 10 plus years that the government buys things such as drum sets, speaking, they buy computer parts and devices. They also pay for staffing, medical staffing, non-medical
Oh, wow.
staffing. They buy weapons and ammo, and they buy podcast services. They're the biggest purchaser in the United States. They spend over $500 billion a year, and you don't
Wow.
have to have experience. You don't have to have had a contract or be an entrepreneur. It's a place that you can enter that's almost like a $0 market
Entry. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
point of
Right.
entry.
Right. Wow. Because, I was thinking about, because I have a skincare line, and it's like, what are their places called when you're on military base, and it's they're like
They're BX and PX.
BX and PX. Right.
Mhm.
And that's where they go to shop for everything. Just
Yes.
like a normal person, like if
Yes.
you had to go to Walgreens, they have their own on base. And so there's so many products that are in there.
There
Correct?
are at the post exchange and or base exchange, they have everything. And what's awesome is you may have, I remember there was like the Charlie's steak at the one at Patrick.
Mm.
And then you have a little kiosk, selling clothes or selling jewelry or selling electronics. And even some of them may have barbershops. And that's something that pretty much all of these vendors apply for.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all contracts in essence with the government, whether you provide a franchise restaurant, a kiosk, or you're a barber.
Wow. And that's something
They're
that
all
you
contracts.
over time really learned. And then now you're the queen of it, right? I love that. Oh, wow. So how does somebody get, how do you approach you, or how does it work that, you can maybe guide them to see if they want to have something going on with their business within the government? How does that work for you? Like in terms of helping them?
Yeah. What's really important is really the why. Why, of all of the markets that are out there, why government contracting? That's what's really important, because there's a variety of products and services that you can sell. Like, you don't have to have past experience. A lot of people out there will say, oh, you need past experience. You have to have a business that's done 2 years of revenue.
Some kind of revenue.
Have a set aside. And I can tell you with extreme confidence, you don't need any of that. I won a lot of contracts without past performance. And today I have well over 100 people. So you don't have to have any of that, but there's got to be that why there to just keep you going along the route. So people who are interested, I ask, like, why government contracting? And the second thing I ask is, are you looking to be an expert or an entrepreneur?
Okay.
Because you can go the expert route, similar to what I did, where it's one area. It could be IT, it could be HVAC, it could be, hey, I only want to do leadership training. Or do you want to go the entrepreneurial route, where you're like, look, I don't care. I'm looking to just make a buck. And my colleague and a lot of my students are like that, where my colleague David, he bids on kosher potato chips. He bids on religious positions. He has a contract where he hosts illegally caught fish. So for him and my students who are like that, the mentality is, what is it that I can bid on where I put in $1 and I'm getting back 32 in theory for these opportunities? Wow. So that's really important. And then lastly this is something where it involves mindset. So as long as a person is open to really growing their mindset, because the mechanics are like 20%. It's the mindset that it's the 80% of, like, you're going to win. You have no problem winning. You go in manifesting.
And you help that. You help that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
that's how you don't just get the contract. You guide them through to be able to get that situation taken care of, or that bid. Yes, we want you. That's what you help them to get to. I love that. I'm going to have to be talking to you.
Please do.
I'm excited. Okay. So let's go back, because I want to get back into what that's all about. But where are you from? Like, what brought you into just where you're at before you got the leadership program and then got you the contract for government?
So, so I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay.
So
Midwestern.
I'm a Midwesterner,
Me too.
originally
Me
from
too.
Michigan.
Okay.
You know, we'll love making a breakfast casserole.
Right.
Favorite. And I grew up always knowing that I was adopted.
Oh,
And my adopted family, especially my dad, Arthur Parks, he always encouraged me. He always encouraged my entrepreneurial endeavors. Because when I
and
was
I
a
understand that because when you were younger, I know what you were doing with certain golf balls
yes, yes,
and
yes, yes. I love
taking those
that.
dirty golf balls and making them clean so you could sell them back to the golfers. So you made some money back in the day. I don't know how old you were then, but that's when you know you have an entrepreneur, like it's in your blood. Like
Yes,
it's just innate in you. And that's the difference between people that, want to become entrepreneurs, but really the ones that know they have it in them from it's instilled in them when they're little. And that's what just keeps growing. And that's why some people can't really make it as an entrepreneur, right? Because they just
right.
don't have that instinct, I guess is the word. So tell me about that and some other things that you did, because that's so cool. I love it.
Believing Before Seeing, a new book by Candace Barr, teaching you how to believe into existence. Available now for pre-order.
I love it.
Well, thank you. It was just seeing the opportunity. I would go to my friend's house and there were all these golf balls in her alley, and her house was
Back
right
up
along
to,
this fence.
right,
And
right, right.
so I was like, hey, I know the value of these golf balls because my grandmother golfed. And so I would set aside the good ones for her, clean the other ones, walk the fence. I was in like I was fifth grade or sixth or seventh grade. And I would walk this fence and like hustle golf balls. And people, maybe they felt sorry for me. I don't care, but they
It doesn't matter. You made the money.
I made the money. I sold the golf balls and it was awesome. And I had also sold things like I would sell batteries to my brothers. Another thing that was popular, I don't know if they do this as much anymore, but when I was a kid, it was such like almost like taking advantage of children when I look back. They would say like, oh, it was like a multi-level marketing, but instead of getting a cash check, your prize was like tickets to get a bike, or it was the most ridiculous thing looking back, but I would try things like that.
But that's a mindset of just,
Mhm.
like people don't think about stuff like that. They just don't have it. So this is what
No,
made you who you are today, is those little things like that.
it definitely did. It so did, and I'm so grateful for it. And then it's also ironic because it's been 20 years now, but I was reunited with my birth family, and I'm close with my birth mom side of the family. And I discovered that her father, my grandfather, and his siblings had started a golf course. It's called Terra Verde. It's in Nunica. It had a different name,
Hmm.
and so I just find that
That's the related
it's
part about it. You were
right. It's
selling golf balls,
related. And
right?
I'd always felt this connection to golf, like
Mm-hmm.
even as a child, like
Mm-hmm.
with putt
Mm-hmm.
putt and everything. So
How about golf? Yeah.
yeah.
How cool is that? Oh my gosh. Okay, so taking on this entrepreneurship and then obviously going through school. Did you go to a certain college?
Yeah, I went to Florida Institute of Technology for a
Okay.
PhD in industrial organizational psychology.
Wow. Okay. There you go. I bow to that one.
No,
So
no, no.
so from there, that's what got you to where you were working at that kind of off base thing with there.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they advertised, they said, hey, they're looking for grad students to work either over the summer or maybe in the fall in their research department. And I
Hmm.
thought, oh, well, this is good. I get to earn some money. I'm inside. My adopted dad has served in the military, and many of my family members have served in the military. So I thought, oh, this is kind of a way to give back. And who would have known that was really the pivotal moment leading to where I am today.
Wow, that's amazing. So coaching and mentoring is part of the contracting thing that you do, or is that separate, or how does that work?
Yeah. So, I've been in this space for 15 years, and during kind of lockdown, I noticed, especially in Clubhouse, all of these.
Oh, you're in Clubhouse.
I've been on Clubhouse, and I noticed like all these government experts, and they're like, oh, government contracting, it's going to change your life, and this is what you do. And then people started reaching out to me for very weird requests. And I would often ask, like, why are you reaching out to me? And they're like, oh, I bought this course, and the person said, this is what you're supposed to do. And it really took me aback because they believed it.
Well, not only that, Clubhouse, I mean, there's some maybe 10% of good, and then the rest of it is the BS of the world. Am I correct on that?
No, you are so correct.
I mean, and it's sad because that's all we had during the pandemic is to, that 10% was really good, but that other stuff, people got ripped off and told things, and they were sold things. And obviously that's what you were hearing. And now I feel like you wanted to make it right.
Yeah, you're spot on. I wanted to make it right because it's really important that when you get a mentor, number one, they've been there and done that. So we've been awarded well over $50 million in contracts. Number two, you want somebody who has the heart of a teacher. I always thought I was going to be a teacher. My big background was training and developing. So I love that. And number three is you have a program that actually works. And so what I put out there, our GovCon Winners process, it works. So it's great. And I love being able to help people because I'm like, they need something better than what they're getting. And as long as they're coachable, there's this amazing opportunity for them. And I've helped people win well over $1 million in a short amount of time. One of my students right now, he's in the middle of finalizing a potentially $4 million contract over the span of 5 years. So
that is just incredible. Oh my God, this is so nice. My show is called Ageless Ambitions. And I feel like the information that you are giving us is going to help feel like the ambitions of so many young entrepreneurs, as well as even older entrepreneurs that have never found their way of making it work for them because they can believe in their products, but it's so hard out there. The marketing side of it is very difficult, and you just keep spending money and nothing happens. I've been there. So to have the opportunity to possibly have something like this, being overseas and seeing the military, how important it is to feel like you're at home and kind of normal within the situation of being away, even if it's on a base here. It's so important to see things that are recognizable or something that is so makes you feel like, okay, I'm not in a foreign situation. Like you have the things that surround you that are in just, if you were just living at home or had a different place outside the base. So I think this is such a great idea. And I feel like so many people could have the opportunity to, have their stuff there. I mean, this is like so incredibly important. And who knew how to even reach somebody that could give a contract from the government. So I am so blessed to have you on the show. And if you could wait, one other thing I got to talk about before we stop, but okay, jump rope, like seriously, like what kind of record do you have?
And the record's back there.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's
oh my God. So did you jump rope a lot? Like I'm a dancer. And I just cannot jump rope. Like my boyfriend is a basketball player. I mean, he could just toodle-oodle all over. And I'm like, and a one, and a two. Like, so tell me how much in flip-flops even, like seriously.
I know. So at one point in time, I weighed like 300 pounds. And and so as I was losing weight, one of the courses that my trainer taught was on jump rope. It was 30 minutes jump rope.
Nice. Oh, I could never. I can't even do 5 minutes. I got to get back.
I couldn't either. When I first started the class, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And it, to this day, for the best class I've ever ever taken.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get back in there. Like,
And
seriously.
so we would do all these sets of tens and jump roping and running, and then doing it in reverse. And I just fell in love with jump roping and continued that on. So right before COVID, I had foot surgery. And so I told myself, I was like, okay, when I'm able to walk and I heal, I want to celebrate this, because I was inspired by David Goggins in
Okay.
that he set a world record. His book is amazing for people who are listening. He has 2 books. And I was like, man, this man's a Navy SEAL. He has a Guinness Book World Record, and he's an ultra marathoner. Okay, I can at least attempt the Guinness record. So I reached out to Guinness and looked into things around jump rope. And I discovered this gentleman who set, like, I think 2 records, one in ski boots and maybe in a different type of footwear. And I thought,
see.
okay,
I see.
I want to do that. So jumping for 60 seconds, I need some kind of footwear. So initially I wanted spin shoes, and Guinness said, no, you got to do something more difficult. How about flip-flops? And I said, oh, that's so perfect, because I live in Florida. My business is headquartered in Florida. And man, you go through a process with them. So fast forward, they were like, oh, you got to be 90. That's how many jumps you have to do in 60 seconds. So I worked with my coach. I have to go and double check my number. I worked with my coach, and I ended up May 1st, 182.
But when you only needed not over 90.
Only 90.
So nobody's going to beat that for a long time.
Right. And that's in 1 minute.
Oh my gosh.
That's more than like 3.
I don't know how you could do that, but that's so cool.
3 a
So-
second. I mean, yeah. So it
I
was
think
super fast.
That's inspirational. Like, that's inspirational for so many people outside of everything else that you do. Like, wow, happy for you. Like,
Thank
and to
you.
even think about calling the Guinness books. I mean, like, that's like, you just know that you want things to happen. Like, you're a go-getter, right? So if you could tell the audience from my side, like, just what kind of inspiration you could give to so many people to do so much for themselves, believe in themselves, what would you say, so that they could possibly not just even get this kind of situation that you're doing, but just to even believe in themselves and continue their journey in a positive way of whatever they want to do?
I would say it truly starts with your mindset. What you believe, it becomes, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what you will end up doing. So if
Okay.
by believing, hey, I can be, or I am a successful entrepreneur, or you want to lose weight, or you want to change your life, or you want to, whatever it is you want to do in your life, as long as you're putting out there, yes, I can do this. That is so vital.
Powerful.
It's so vital, because when you first start, especially business, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and everybody's happy for you. Then there's like this huge middle where you're actually trying to get sales and do all these things, put in proposals or go to meetings, what may have you. And that's the area that most people don't talk about.
Right.
Or even in athlete, and as an athlete or jump rope, people aren't talking about the middle. It's the beginning, and then, oh, I won a contract. Yay for me. That's exciting, but you got to win more, right? You got to win some more. So by having that positive mindset, it keeps you going. No matter what's going on during your journey, putting out there, I'm going to win. I'm going to be successful. I'm a GovCon winner. I'm going to win a contract before the end of the year. Then it's going to happen. If there's this belief like, oh, why would they buy from me? I don't understand. Why would the government buy from you? Well, then they're not going to buy from you.
Right. And then, or people say, well, maybe no, we can't do that. Right. We just have to put ourselves in the position and visualize it and see it and know your why. Like you said in the beginning, like, know your why. Do you have your why? Because if you don't have a why, then it's not going to go anywhere either, to me. Like, you have to, the why is, that's your point of having confidence, when you can say your why. Correct?
It is. It's your point of having confidence, and it's what's going to keep you going. Because if not, then it becomes a hobby.
Right.
Because winning a government
Mhm.
contract is not hard. It's easy. You can win a contract. There's a lot of people who have won, but that's not a business. It's like selling one thing on Amazon. You can set up a store and you sell one thing, but if you never sell again on Amazon, is that a business?
Right, 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 right. I appreciate your time, and I'm so thankful for you being on my show, Ageless Ambitions. Everybody, Dr. Kizzy, you're gonna love her, and just watch our show so that you can get some information, because there's gonna be a lot more that you can know when you view this video. I'll talk to you in a little bit, everybody, on Ageless Ambitions. Thank you guys for joining us.